with Steve, Cat, Ryan, Amanda, and Eric. In the voice of NEW, Vince Berry. Hitting all the topics like a clothesline flurry. Turn up your speakers and hear them out. You can listen from your car, even on your couch. They too raw, who NXT? Handing out SmackDowns, follow on IG. Plus, it's sponsored by Tagging Your Date. Go to YouTube and sub now for every update. It's all wrestling here. No safe space, now listen in. Time to hear from some of the greats.
What the hell is this? Who the hell are you? Who am I? I'm Rick Boogs. That's Boogs. And I can rock with the real king of SmackDown, Shinsuke Nakamura. Boogs. Thank you, Boogs. What a treat this is! Oh my God!
I don't know what was better, Boogs and the guitar, or McCaffrey standing on the fucking announce table and going apeshit
like a maniac, man. Like
if anybody, whoever doesn't like Boogs Boogs, and whoever doesn't like McCaffrey, there's something wrong with you.
He's I think people got on him because they were like, oh, well, he's not in wrestling, he's not a wrestler, whatever, but he is you can tell that he's a real fan. He's like not one of those fake guys. It's like, oh yeah, I like wrestling, and then they, who's your favorite wrestler? Oh, the Junkyard Dog. You know what I mean? He's not one of those guys.
Yeah, I just, and we, a couple of times, that's why Adnan, or whatever the fuck his name was over at Raw, was so short-lived, because it just came out that he just was not a fan. And
you could tell he wasn't a fan. He didn't really.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It came across like, he didn't even try, even like I said, he didn't study.
Yeah.
So I'm very happy with McCaffrey. I can't say enough about him. He's just doing a great fucking job. I'm loving this Boogs guy. I'm loving his whole deal with Shinsuke. I'm loving how he's the real king of strong style, even though he lost, but he still walked out with the crown. I mean, listen, at the end of the day, Corbin can't lose every week. This is a feud. The payoff will be at Hell in the Cell, I'm sure, where Shinsuke will eventually, officially get the crown and whatnot. But anyone who doesn't know, this is the War Report podcast, live Tuesday, 6 p.m. Welcome to the show. It's one of the greatest entrances right now. Boogs is a hell of a guitar player, so I figured why not open up the show with a little Shinsuke. But we have to start. It's amazing, and this has been happening for as long as we've been doing the show. A lot of shit goes down before we go live. From the week before, and of course after the show, I believe Wednesday, the next day, Blockbuster releases in the WWE. I mean, listen, if you ever thought you were safe, this clearly shows that you're never safe. Guys like Braun Strowman was your WrestleMania main event winner and champion a year ago, and now he's been wished the best. Aleister Black. You just spent all this time and effort repackaging the guy. You gave him 1 week. Now he's gone. Lana, say what you want about Lana. She may not be in the best in the ring, but let me tell you something. She put in the work and she's getting better. She does whatever you ask of her. She did that whole storyline with Rusev that she probably didn't want to do. She week after week went through table after table after table after table with no fucking payoff, and she still did her thing. You release her husband, she still stays with you and does week after week whatever you want. She gets over. She's doing her thing. You let her go. Santana Garrett, great fucking talent. You never gave a chance. Murphy, phenomenal in the ring.
That's the frustrating thing.
Right. Murphy, listen, very talented, awesome in the ring. No love lost, unfortunately. I think he would be better off in AEW, quite honestly. But why would you? I got to go back to Braun Strowman, because that to me was the biggest. Aleister Black was a shock, but at the end of the day, I also know that he wanted out. So,
Well, if he wanted out, that's different. But I can't figure it, man. Like you said, that guy he won the world title last year. He was in an important match at WrestleMania, a cage match with Shane. It's not like he's a nobody.
He dropped all that weight and got shredded. I mean, the guy's a true monster.
He got in such good shape.
But now here's my thing. You see AEW doing really well in the ratings. You see them already have back the live crowd, the pay-per-view numbers that they just did. We had the entire show that we weren't planning to talk solely AEW Double or Nothing, and we did because it was that fucking good. You got Mark Henry now. You got Big Show. You got all these guys. They're showing you they're going to sign. So now you got Andrade is All Elite Wrestling. Mark Henry is All Elite Wrestling.
I didn't see that one coming at all.
I had an idea. I didn't think it was going to happen this quickly. So they're showing you they're going to take these guys. So Strowman, you're going to take the risk of Strowman going to AEW and being a fucking monster? I want to say this, and I want you to tell me if I'm crazy or what. Hello, Facebook user. How are you? I am, if there was ever a time where you had the best opportunity not to recreate an NWO type of saga, but imagine if you put all these guys together as a faction. And I'm talking Mark Henry, who didn't rule out an in-ring return and said he has a lot of gas left in the tank. Big Show, who said the same thing.
Right.
You've got Christian. You've got Ambrose or Moxley. You've got, listen, I don't need to give you the list. You've got a lot of guys.
Right.
Andrade now. All these guys jumping ship. Now you can do an invasion type of deal and try and recreate it. Figure out a way to make it a little different, because it's not the same, like, you'll never be able to do it as well, because when it went down the first time, it was brilliantly done and made you think, holy shit, is this really in the script or not? Are they really invading? Are they really, like, Scott Hall just comes in out of the crowd and nobody saw it coming. Then Kevin Nash, then Big Show becomes the mastermind of the whole deal, and then fucking Hogan. You know what I'm saying? So they could do some interesting shit right now, and I wouldn't be surprised if every single name that was just released goes to AEW, and it just so happens their compete cause is all up by AEW's next big pay-per-view.
Yeah,
Hi, Tara.
There's definitely a lot of question marks here as to where these folks are going to end up. Can you hear me?
I don't know, but I can hear you perfect. But I don't know if I agree with that, Vince. Do you really think that, we really don't know where they're going to go? You got to know. Tony Khan is going to throw money in the direction of at least at a minimum, Braun Strowman and Aleister Black. At a minimum.
Oh, yeah. I think Aleister Black is a lock. The only reason I'm hesitant to say anything about Braun is a few months ago, and I know this, all things can get worked out in the name of money, so keep that in mind. But Braun Strowman made a post a couple months ago how he was set for life. Yeah, he said, "Oh, I'm set for life. If I ended my WWE career, I wouldn't need to work the indies or go work a smaller promotion." Like he took a pot shot at AEW, calling them a smaller promotion. Which, yes, they are. They're a small, but they're on cable TV, and they're the number 2 wrestling promotion in the world. Period. If the money's right, sure.
Well, and here's my other thing. I want to say it so it doesn't come out wrong. And this is just me. Like if I know what kind of fan I am, and I've had the chance to go in front of a crowd and get a small inkling of that feeling. I've never had the ability to go out in front of 80,000 people and feel that rush. But if Strowman was in it for the wrestling as much as he was for the money, then at the end of the day, he's going to miss it. He's going to get the itch, and he's going to want to continue to wrestle. And the only other solution right now, unless you're going overseas, is AEW. And he's got a lot of connections, and he's got a lot of friends over there. And Braun is kind of a big deal. This is a main event WWE guy. So you bring the monster over there, it's a win-win for everybody. So I feel like push comes to shove, money aside, Braun is way too young to want to say, I'm set financially.
Yeah, that's true. And here's the thing. Nobody has to be signed to a long contract. Zack Ryder, if you remember, Zack Ryder showed up in AEW for 5. He had like a 5-match contract just to see, almost like a tryout. So it's not beyond the realm of possibility that AEW says, okay, we're not going to sign you to a long-term deal. We want to sign you to a short-term deal, and then see if we want to move you to a full-time contract. That's also a potential, end game.
Yeah, I mean, there's a few different ways it could go, I guess. It's going to be very interesting.
I think Aleister Black goes to AEW. I think Buddy Murphy goes to Japan first, but might show up in AEW. But I think Buddy Murphy wants to wrestle in Japan. So more
and
power
listen,
to him.
and not for nothing, we can't rule out Impact Wrestling either, because they've been scraping up some guys too. So I mean, we can't rule them out. Ring of Honor, I don't know. I feel like they've lost a lot of momentum since the pandemic. New Japan will always be New Japan, So, I mean, listen, there are options. I feel like a guy like Strowman, why would you want to hang it up now? I mean, you're in the prime of your career. You're solid looking. I mean, you've worked so hard to make a name where, not for nothing, you could go to an indie show and clean house and make a shit ton of money, whether you need it or not.
I mean, he could command a several $1,000 booking fee just to walk in the door. Then he could command a large price for the gimmicks, the pictures, the photo ops, the autographs, whatever. Like, Hogan pulls in $7,500 an autograph, and that's Hogan. Other guys, I'm not saying Strowman's at Hogan's level, but he might be currently in terms of like what you could ask at an autograph signing. If he goes to WrestleCon, or
Sting
if he goes to WrestleCade or whatever. Yeah,
Sting is $8,000 without the face paint, $10,000 with the face paint.
I love that.
My feeling is at that point, if you're already spending $8,000, you spend the 10 and you get the paint. I mean,
Right. I mean, that's ridiculous. Why would you bring in? Then you're bringing in Steve Borden. You want Sting.
Yeah, I can't disagree on that. I mean, but that's what I'm saying. For the extra $2,000 at that point, you pay the $2,000, you get the paint.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
But I just can't believe it.
Superfly Snuka used to do that.
Oh yeah, but that blew me away.
Go ahead.
These releases,
Yeah,
I can't. And there's no rhyme or reason.
I can't wrap my mind around it.
I mean, the only logical explanation is that they are getting ready for Vince to sell the company. And, Braun Strowman, from what I understand, had a very hefty contract when he re-signed. So to show more bottom line, you get rid of your big heavy-duty contract. So You know, I don't know, man, and not for nothing. I think we should talk a little bit about the potential of Vince selling, and I would only have to assume that NBC is the front runner. What happens to the WWE though if he sells him? Why doesn't he sell it to his kids?
Well, yeah. So it's hard to say why he wouldn't sell it to them. That I think the assumption was when both Stephanie and Shane were younger, was that Shane and Stephanie together would run the business. As things went along, Shane started to pull away. He sold all of it. He's technically not even a member of the board anymore. He sold all of his shares and cashed out to go become a VP of that company. I think it was U Media over in China back about 10, 15 years ago. So he's not even part, like he doesn't have any kind of say in what the company does. The duties that they thought he was going to take over got co-opted by, not co-opted, but I mean, somebody had to take them over. Stephanie and Triple H. And, yeah, I don't know. I feel like the only reason that Vince wouldn't keep it in the family is that he doesn't think that they could do the job. But that's also weird because Triple H is like, Vince McMahon assigned Triple H to NXT to prepare him for the job of running the creative of the WWE, or at least that was the assumption, right?
And NXT has been phenomenal since its inception.
And not, you know, when we talk about NXT, you also talk about the other side where, you know, they'll take somebody like Aleister Black, super over, NXT champion, all this stuff, and then they'll fucking do diddly dick with him when Vince pulls him up on the main roster. So there's got to be tension there. How does it feel? If you're Triple H, you spent a year and a half building Aleister Black up on NXT, two-time NXT champion, had a big feud with Velveteen Dream, Say My Name, the whole deal, and then he just gets cut, you know, he does nothing on the main roster and then gets cut loose. If you're Triple H, you got to be pissed that they've done this with him, Andrade, there's a laundry list.
You know, we haven't even really talked much, but Velveteen has also been confirmed to be released. I mean, I don't know. I could take him or leave him. I mean, I thought he was very talented in the ring, but you know, that seemed to be just a matter of time anyway.
Yeah, in ring is only one part of it. I mean, we've seen other people with worse results, like take the outside stuff and kind of go overboard, like the Ultimate Warrior. You know, if he made some personal choices that are bad in terms of reaching out to underage people or not, or whether it was, you know, that's kind of been one of the rumors. The other thing is rumored that he was difficult backstage. People rumor that maybe drugs had something to do with it, so maybe he's like a little bit of a young Shawn Michaels, where he thinks that he's untouchable and, you know, can just do some drugs and show up and wrestle matches. But it isn't 1994 anymore, so bye-bye.
Yeah, it's, you know, it's just, I said it before and I'll say it again. You could be as high on that card as you want. You're never safe. You know, it could change literally in 24 hours. Yeah. You know, you could go out on Monday Night Raw or SmackDown, have a great match, and that next day, you get a text message of all things that you've been released from your contract.
And it's like Aleister Black, they just brought him back. They just did all this stuff with him. And then they go, okay, we're going to cut you 4 days later. It's like, what the fuck?
Sometimes
it doesn't make any sense.
There's just no rhyme or reason, and it will never make sense to us. You know, it's
right.
You know, especially talents of this caliber. I mean, every single one that was released in their own way was great. You know, like I said, Lana, I mean, you think about when she first came in to now, night and day. I'm not saying she's Lita or Trish Stratus, but she's definitely better than a Dana Brooke, for example, or, you know, and then here's what gets me the most. We release all these people, but we're bringing back Eva Marie, who will be back on Raw next week.
and the rumor that she wasn't wrestling, she tweeted about and said, "You're wrong. I am going to wrestle." So I mean, sure, let's just release, a talented wrestler like Santana Garrett, young person who's willing to try, and hire Eva Maria. Oh, and then by the way, we're going to take one of your most legit wrestlers, and we'll get into this later. I wish there were more people on, but one of your most legit wrestlers, a legit shooter, former UFC fighter, Shayna Baszler, and you put her, like, trained by Billy Robinson, like an old school grappler shooter guy, and you put her in a feud with a fucking haunted doll. Like, what the fuck? Just let this lady wrestle Edge. None of this shit makes sense.
Well, we'll get into Raw. We'll get into Raw. You're driving. You probably can't see this, but Tara commented, "That's why I don't understand why Vince didn't sell the company to Hunter. NXT obviously thrived under his watch," which, Tara, we agree. I mean, I said the same thing. It's, NXT has always been Triple H's baby, and there hasn't been one bad fucking pay-per-view. And look at the talent on the main roster that has survived, that's doing really well.
Yeah, like Drew McIntyre was. I mean, I know he was on SmackDown well before that and developmental well before that, but he had to work his way back through NXT to get on the main roster, and he wouldn't have the run that he has now if he didn't have a good run in NXT.
Right,
so
of course, and then look at Charlotte and Bayley. Andrade was fantastic. Look at Bray Wyatt. All the women, I mean, the list goes on and on. Look at the
entirety of the Shield.
The Shield, and then you got the Street Profits, and you got the Viking Raiders, which had a big win on Monday. Again, we'll get into that. So, it's like for some they're doing it right, but I mean, there's others that they're doing really, poorly. Like, listen, let's just fucking jump to Raw then, because I'm getting really fearful. I don't really give a fuck about the other guy, but I have kind of a personal feeling, heartfelt feeling to Donovan Dijak, T-Bar or T-Bag or whatever the fuck they're calling him now on Raw. And, these guys just keep losing and losing and losing. And Dijak is a fucking talent, and he should be treated that way. And, it really bothers me. And I'm very happy to see the Viking Raiders win that #1 contendership for Hell in the Cell. But I'm getting worried because I don't see any positive progress for these guys since the split with Retribution, and Retribution was nothing to fucking rave about either. Kat, welcome to the show.
Thanks. Sorry, I'm a little late.
Better late than never.
Or pregnant.
Did you just say or pregnant or I'm pregnant?
Or. Oh, God, if I said am, God.
No.
I almost just got choked on some coffee.
I would have choked too. No, you said better late than never. I said or pregnant.
Got you.
Better late than
so we already kind of covered, obviously, you had to know, if you had to guess, what did we start the show with?
Oh, the firings.
Yeah. All right. So we kind of already tackled Yeah. So we've already tackled that topic. We kind of have now shifted to Raw, but anything that you want to get off your chest about the recent releases before we officially move on to Raw?
I just think it's absolutely absurd what they've done. I don't understand why it was done for some of them. I mean, I guess I get some of it, but the Braun Strowman thing is absolutely ridiculous, especially considering the fact that he was the one leading off the commercials for the last 2 weeks that they were going back on the road. I think it was pointless to make Aleister Black be doing all those vignettes, and then he's fired. I don't understand the reasoning when it came to like the two of them at all. And as much as I don't really think Lana was the best, I think the storyline they were doing with her and Naomi
is the best. Lana #1.
I think that was really pathetic. I think some of the stuff she was doing with Naomi recently was really good. And she was having fun out there and actually learning for a change. So I just
listen. I said this before you got on, and we're going to agree. I said the same thing. I said, you got to look at Lana from where she first came in as the Ravishing Russian till now, it's like night and day. She's put in the work, and she's been loyal. She's done everything you've asked. She was in that feud with Nia, going through tables week after week after week with no payoff in the end. She has done whatever you asked. You fire her husband.
Ridiculous.
She still continues to go out there and do her thing.
Yep.
And then you release her.
And
It's like, and listen, now she'll go to AEW and be with him, which is great, but
right.
So fucked
the
up.
loyalty aspect sucks. And I'm sorry, she was the contributing factor to one of the funniest things that happened this year, because it's her fault that Nia Jax was screaming about her hole.
Oh, that's true.
She's the reason that whole sequence happened, which I'm sorry, give her a slammy, because that was freaking
The whole
hilarious.
sequence?
The whole sequence from start to finish.
I just, it really blows my mind. And then Braun Strowman, I mean, to me, that's the biggest shock, because you are basically saying, go to AEW. I mean, it's
right.
And there's no doubt in my mind that's where he ends up.
Yeah, but then don't forget, too, like they even said the reason was because of his $1.2 million contract. That's not his fault that he was making that much money.
What did I say, Vince? It came down to his contract.
Oh, yeah. It's all. What did Vince McMahon tell us years ago?
It's all about the money.
That even got brought up again in the whole Bret the Hitman Hart episode of his biography, that the reason why he even went to WCW was because Bret couldn't pay him the money for the contract that he was going to be doing and all this shit.
Yeah,
but yet they can manage to pay Eva
sign the
Marie.
guy to a 20-year contract.
But yet they're still managing to pay Eva Marie, because that's not a cheap contract.
Vince, what did I say?
just
Right
said
before
that.
she jumped on, we said the same fucking thing. But you're bringing back Eva fucking Marie next week on Raw.
God help me.
So,
I don't understand.
let's talk a little bit about Raw.
Did we talk about Alexa Bliss yet or no?
No, we just started
No.
shifting to Raw.
Okay.
And I guess we'll start there because Vince kind of already made a quick comment about it. Here's my take. I didn't hate it. I mean, listen, it's a doll. It is what it is. Alexa Bliss, I think, is doing a great job based on what she's being given. I didn't hate it. I didn't hate the sequence in the end where Shayna's running, and everything's falling, and then the fire, and then, she finally finds one room that's unlocked, and she goes in, and then the glass, and she sees the reflection of Lily, and then she breaks the mirror, but she still sees Lily. So it's like getting into her head. I didn't hate it. I didn't think it was terrible.
Do you remember WCW when Warrior came
Ultimate
in?
Warrior and Hulk Hogan. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. It was the exact same
Same thing. But I mean, oh my God.
But I still didn't hate it. I didn't think it was terrible.
I didn't either, to be honest.
It's never a question of the performers. The performers are all doing well with what they're given. I don't know, man. Like, didn't they just have a thing a couple weeks ago or like a month ago where some shit fell on somebody's head? And then like a year ago, like Daniel Bryan had some guy that wasn't Eric Rowan push a stack of speakers onto Roman Reigns. Like, they have a lot of shit falling on people. Maybe
Well,
they
the
should
stuff
they gotta look into that.
the stuff
Like an
falling
OSHA
a couple of
violation.
months ago was Alexa Bliss doing it to Randy Orton. Same sequence.
Oh, it was. Okay, so at least that's consistent. It was
She
Alexa.
did it
All
in
right.
the match. She did it
But, I
in the
mean,
match
you know.
with Randy Orton that she won when she brought the Fiend back.
Oh, that was the Randy Orton versus Alexa Bliss match. Jesus, I forgot that happened.
Yeah, that's when she tried. He screamed, "Dude, are you trying to kill me?"
So, all right. So,
Yeah.
for me, this is all gearing up to a potential Baszler versus Lily match at Hell in the Cell, or Alexa. Is Lily actually going to become a person? Like, where's this going to go? Because I've actually heard rumors, and these are just rumors, they're not confirmed, that Lily may come to life.
She has to.
Okay, but how does this happen? So, like, if somebody comes out in a doll suit looking like Lily, I'm going to be pissed.
Maybe it's Eva Marie.
Yeah, that's not happening. We both know that.
I know, but it was.
What if Alexa Bliss they dress up Alexa Bliss like Sally from Nightmare Before Christmas, with like the stitches on her face and buttons on her eyes and shit.
So she transforms into Lily.
That's not bad.
So Lily,
I mean, that
is
makes
her fiend, maybe.
Oh,
The other
all right.
option I've
That's
heard
not
is that
bad.
maybe a cinematic match. So then you could do Lily could just appear, special effects. If you do a cinematic match, boom, 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 she shows up, camera cut, she disappears, all that other happy horseshit.
Oh, that's not bad.
And it becomes kind of like a cat and mouse kind of thing.
Right, it's more like that the Swamp Thing with Bray Wyatt and the Fiend. But it could because the speculation is that this might be the last cinematic match. Once they're going back to live crowds, so this might be the last cinematic match they do for a while.
I'm okay with that.
Same.
Oh, I am too. They're hitting this.
Sounds.
I don't know. My feeling at this point, there is no cinematic match that is ever going to top Undertaker AJ Styles. So I don't. To me, I'd rather see everything in the ring, especially now that we're going to get crowds back.
Oh,
Still
now that
don't
everything's
think
back,
so.
no question.
What was that, Vince?
I said now that everything's back, no question. Shouldn't be any more cinematic matches, and there's only a handful that were like the best ever, and then the rest of them were just kind of okay. And then there were some that were really bad. So like it wasn't like a ladder match or like a Hell in a Cell where you're like, oh man, I can't wait for the next one. It's like after you saw a couple cinematic matches, you're fucking over it.
Well, I'll make a correction to that one statement, though. If it's a cinematic match, anything like the Stampede match in AEW, then we're okay with it.
Read the comment if just in
did.
case. No, Al. So if you're not watching the show, Tara on Facebook said her and her dad normally, who doesn't watch wrestling, happened to be in the room at the end of this Lily Blazer. And they just looked at each other in the TV and just started laughing. I mean, it was, for little kids, that's fucking creepy. You know what I mean? So I think,
for little kids, yeah. For grown adults, it's probably not the same.
Not for
but
my
I still
kids.
appreciated it. It didn't bother me, and there's a lot of people it bothered. To me, I thought it was okay.
They're never gonna please everybody. There's always going to be someone
right, yeah,
that complains about something. I mean, there are people that complained about, again, like,
and it's usually going to be me.
That's true. That's true. We're
not talking about Daniel Bryan right now, Vince. So
why don't we?
Oh no, I complained earlier about Shayna.
Yes, he did. RK Bro came out with merchandise last night.
Yes. In perfect time for the road.
So
right.
I love the shirt, the hoodie. I actually didn't catch until Randy came out during Riddle's match, and I actually read where it said RK Bro. So that's cool. So obviously this is going to continue if they're already pushing the merch. So that's a good sign because I really am enjoying them together. Randy's still playing the whole I'm not 100% sold on it yet. Like he still won't do the pose after they win. But
right.
It's getting there. I love the whole zip your mouth, give me the key. It's funny because Riddle just goes on these tangents, which is funny. Like a typical stoner, like he'll just go into a story and just keep going, and it's always hilarious. So it's just the whole dynamic with the two. You can obviously tell that Randy, really sees a lot in him to want to do this because he requested to work with him. So I'm pretty stoked. I love the way it's going, and
wow, yeah.
and I think we're in for a run. I think eventually they're going to win the titles.
I think that's a possibility because here's what people are talking about. They're saying, oh well, Randy Orton. You know what happens when Randy Orton's with a partner? He always turns on him. Well, that was to get Randy Orton over.
But
Randy
he will
Orton
in the
doesn't
end.
get over anymore. He's almost 50 years old. No, I think here's what's going to happen. I think Riddle is going to turn on Orton to switch shit up.
That's interesting. So you're going to give Riddle a heel turn in the end? That's
I mean,
interesting.
could you imagine? It would be like Jericho and Owens, like a festival of friendship. They finally become friends, and then boom, bro, Derek.
The only thing that I question is how many like angry stoners do you know? You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, not many.
So I mean, listen, it's wrestling.
You know
so
what you should
they can
do?
do it, but
They should have somebody come back. Remember? Oh, I know. They get Vic Grimes back
Oh my
as
God.
Key, who was Droz's he was Droz's drug dealer Key, and Key switches Riddle from marijuana to cocaine, and that's why he turns on Randy Orton.
Oh yeah, because
Yeah,
that's
that's
kid
fucking
friendly.
happening.
We're talking about a doll.
how about Riddle somehow they get across that he can't get his hands on any marijuana. So
Oh man, Randy tells him he needs to stop smoking so he can focus on the matches. And then he goes through withdrawals and finally snaps on him.
there you go.
That story is never gonna pass through USA or Fox.
It's not PG.
Hey, I'm
Let's do it, but I
just
want
saying this. It's becoming legal everywhere. So it's possible.
You're
voting on it in
absolutely
Connecticut,
right on
eh?
the legality part, but how many people are going to put that front and center with their kids, especially when they're going back on the road and there's kids in the audience?
Oh, parents will be outraged for sure.
Exactly. I don't see that.
They can't do that shit anymore, unfortunately.
There's no more attitude era. In the attitude era, I would have said this is absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, but we can't do that no more.
In the snowflake era, not happening.
Yeah.
Not happening.
So what else on
What
Raw?
else happened? I don't even know what happened on. Yeah.
Did we talk about Sheamus' face?
No.
Oh, Sheamus' face is all fucked up.
Yeah, well, I think his nose was legit broken. He had surgery. But you know what? You say what you want about Sheamus, but he's a tough motherfucker because he was on Raw. You know, I mean, obviously he wasn't cleared, so he couldn't do anything. But he came out, he did commentary. His face is all banged up. I mean, if you know anyone who's ever broken their nose, your whole face gets puffy and swelled up under the eyes and on the eyes. So, you know, kudos to him. You know, hope he has a quick recovery. Obviously, he's going to be cleared on the Sooner side because they're not making him vacate the title. I think they're obviously setting up a triple threat for Hell in the Cell, which should be a great match because up until the end with the double count out, they put on a hell of a match. I mean, those two really did some good shit, and we had an oh my god moment off the ring mat onto the floor, which caused the double count out. So that should be pretty fun to watch. You know, and then you know, we mentioned the Viking Raiders. They're now the number one contenders for the tag titles. So that'll be fun to watch. What else happened on Raw? I mean, so Bobby Lashley, they did the contract signing with Drew McIntyre. Now there's the stipulation. So it will be inside Hell in the Cell. And if Drew McIntyre loses, he is never allowed to challenge Bobby Lashley for the world title ever again.
And it has to be notarized.
And MVP will have it notarized. Yes, they made that very clear. MVP's trying to recruit.
Nobody's going to talk about.
Go ahead, Vince. What?
Well, Drew, you just skipped this contract signing thing. Drew, throwing back the Attitude Era, tried to choppy Bobby Lashley's pee-pee. He took out a sword and cut the table. I think he thought he was aiming for Bobby's dick.
I mean, that's probably a safe bet. Ratings, baby. It's all about the ratings.
Choppy your pee-pee.
Choppy your pee-pee.
Choppy your pee-pee in front of a bunch of women. Lorena Bobbitt 2.0.
So we had that with the main event. They also what was the main event outside of the contract signing?
The Playhouse between Alexa and
Yeah,
Shayna.
it was the women's
We went over
thing.
the
But you
we
were
went
talking
over
about
that.
MVP Kofi.
Right. So now it looks like MVP's trying to recruit Kofi. So who the hell knows how that plays out? I don't see them looking to turn Kofi Kingston heel. But listen, I didn't expect them to release Braun Strowman, so who the fuck knows?
Yeah.
What else? Oh, Charlotte. So that whole thing continued. They put Charlotte in a tag match with Rhea Ripley. And of course, that ended with Charlotte costing Rhea the match. So those two are facing off at the pay-per-view.
This is a nice little push for Nikki Cross.
It is. It's a
Yeah, they're
surprising.
starting up something for her.
Yeah, which is nice. I mean, this is 3 weeks in a row that she won. None of them like 100% legit. I mean, but nonetheless, they're in the record books. They're on the SWs. So that's pretty solid. What else are we missing
Captain
from?
Lou Albano.
What else are we missing from Raw? I mean, it's 3 hours. I think we hit like the hot buttons. The Street Profits.
Yeah.
They're going to be feuding now with who are they feuding with? They got jumped in the back. Oh, yeah, it looks like they're going to be put in a feud now with Otis and Gable.
Oh, so now we're on SmackDown. Okay.
Oh, that's right. I can't even keep track of who's on what show. I'm not ready for SmackDown.
Did I miss something in that?
Did I miss anything on Raw?
Did I miss something? I don't
I know.
think
I was
so.
like, wait a minute. Who got traded?
Well, that's happening in August now.
Yeah, they're doing another draft.
Oh, yeah, that's getting bumped up early.
Yeah, who cares? They don't stick to it anyway.
That's interesting. They're
What did
doing
you
it.
say, Autumn? No, she said something. I thought she said The Miz.
All right, well, fuck it. If that's pretty much it on Raw, let's shift over to SmackDown. Love what they're doing with Shinsuke. Kat, we opened. I don't know if you heard the beginning of the show, but we opened with Boogs playing out Shinsuke.
It's my highlight of SmackDown.
It's fantastic. I love the pairing.
Yeah.
And
Pat
how
McAfee was up on the table this week playing air guitar now.
I said it, and he's screaming and he's yelling and he's just, dude, everything about McCaffrey. I fucking love the guy. I am so down with him. I still can't believe Eric still hates him. He's obviously not watching.
Like him.
He's obviously not watching.
We had a big debate on this on Tara's page the other day too, because
he's out of his mind.
Because Tara converted from not liking him on NXT to now enjoying him on SmackDown, because he's like us sitting in the seats. I say it every week.
A true fucking fan.
Yeah.
I fucking love the guy.
Yep.
I mean, really, like, to see him jump on the table and start cheering for Shinsuke, and it's just, oh man, like I would do the same shit if I was ringside. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And you need the two. So you have Michael Cole, who is your broadcaster, very professional
Broadcast
guy.
journalist.
And you've got the other guy who acts like the fan. And he's color commentator, so he has to be more colorful. They had, well, I dropped my phone. While they've tried this before where they had like 3 interchangeable white guys who were all broadcast majors as the SmackDown commentary or whatever it was. And it was just like, who the fuck, like Vic Joseph, Tom Phillips, and Michael Cole. And it's like, you could put them in a bag and shake it up and you pick one out and you don't know who's who. So they needed somebody like Pat to come in and shake things up on the commentary for sure.
I'm still not sold on the new guy on Raw either, but he's definitely so far I definitely like him better than the other guy. But he's another one that I'm just not sold on, feeling like he's a true fan of wrestling. But I'm gonna give him a fair chance. You know what I mean? But
He's jumping on the fly better, and he's working better with Corey though. You can hear the conversation. It's not like Corey is teaching him while the matches are going on. Like
that's fair.
And there's at least commentary. Like I forgot who it was, but he said, "Oh, sunset flip over the top rope. And Corey goes, nobody calls it a sunset flip anymore. But it was a joke.
Right.
You know?
No, that works.
Yeah, but it
I
should
didn't
be
know
like,
it-
call the moves. That's the other thing that bugs me. Call the moves.
Yeah. But these guys don't know them. At least like Pat and Michael Cole know what they're called. Corey Graves knows what they're called. You know? But
Yeah.
what was his name?
Adnan Virk did not
Aiden
know.
or whatever the hell his name was. He didn't belong there.
No.
So we got the Shinsuke deal. I'm still loving what they're doing with Roman Reigns
Yeah.
and the Usos. I'm loving the story. You know, they had the tag title match with the Mysterios. The Mysterios win the first one, but it was controversial. His shoulder was clearly up. The ref missed, but it looked great.
Yeah.
They demand the rematch. They get the rematch same night. They go at it again before they have a chance to actually lose. Roman shows up and just absolutely destroys Dominic and Ray and says that the Usos embarrassed the family. I mean, where's this going? Because Jimmy just seems like he's not going to get on board. Jay kind of doesn't know what to do.
It's leading up for that family internal conflict. It's just gonna keep going because now I don't know how true this is. I don't know if you guys saw it or whatever, but now they're saying Ray's gonna get a contender shot at Roman.
At Hell in a Cell, yeah.
Yeah.
Which I'm not happy with.
I'm kind of not either. I will agree on that.
Because you know what could happen. And listen, I think I'm of your same opinion as you. If Roman's going to hold this title for a long-ass time, he should at least get this match with The Rock out of it. And he's got to put somebody over who's a new guy and don't just have the title kind of go back to, like Seth Rollins or whatever. So, but Hell in a Cell, if it's an actual cell match, Roman Reigns, Rey Mysterio, if Jimmy stops Jay from interfering, Roman could lose the title to Ray, and then Ray gets the rub for being the one to beat Roman. Listen, I don't think it's going to happen. I think Roman Reigns wins no matter who they put in front of him right now, but, I mean, just it's interesting to speculate.
The reason why I'm not happy with Ray is, number one, he's a tag champion with his son, so focus on that and defend those titles. I don't need to see you facing Roman now for the world title. It's not happening. I love Rey Mysterio. I've seen him beat the Big Show. You know what I'm saying? It's not like he can't beat him because it's pro wrestling. Of course he can beat him. It doesn't need to happen. It's a feud that just got thrown together clearly and just doesn't need to be.
Yeah.
He's a tag champion. Stick with that. Work with your son and do that deal. I'm good there. So go ahead, Kat.
I almost want to say if they're going to, like how they're utilizing Roman to showcase other people's talent, because that's clearly the direction they're going in. Like they did it with Cesaro, even though Cesaro didn't need that necessarily, because we all know how fantastic he is. I almost say I'd rather see him in the match with Dominic, as bad as that sounds.
It would be a fucking massacre, though.
But that's what they're portraying that Roman Reigns is doing. He is literally tearing down all the competition, help or not.
No, I get that. But, I mean, is that...
Get in the way.
Like, do you honestly think that Dominic should be facing Roman Reigns for the world title at a fucking major pay-per-view in the main event?
I don't think Ray should be facing the main event for the
no,
title either. So if we're gonna go that route, let it be Dominic, at least.
Yeah, but Ray would make more sense than Dominic. Ray is a former world champion. Dominic's been in the business 10 minutes.
Who the hell got their ass kicked more though on Friday night?
Of course, because he's the young kid.
Exactly. So you give the young kid a push
for the world title in the main event of Hell in a Cell. That's a Raw match or SmackDown.
Sure.
That's not a.
It's a Raw or SmackDown main event. But check this out, Steve. I got an idea. This is real old school, and they would probably never do it today. Hell in a Cell. Ray earns the shot and then goes, "I'm going to give it to my son because you beat the shit out of him so bad, he should have the shot. Hell in a Cell. Put the cell down. Bell rings. Roman Reigns fucking massacres Dominic. And what I'm saying is old school. He beats the shit out of him. Dominic gigs from like one eyebrow to the other across his entire forehead, and he just gets punched, and he's got the full mask, spear,
The
Superman
Crimson
punch,
Mask.
pin him or whatever, make him, and just have it be a beating. Have it just be the kid gigs and he's bleeding like, you know what I mean, just like a sucked pig, and then Ray comes out and is holding like his fucking dead son. And if you want to put Roman Reigns over, that's how you put him over. You take this young, good-looking kid
Exactly.
and make him bleed. And
But he's
kill him.
already over.
And then, then you have the yeah,
So-
but I mean,
so
like, think
Again,
imagine,
let Roman have a squash match or something like that. They did it with him with Daniel Bryan after the Elimination Chamber. Daniel Bryan's match with him was how long?
Right, but that agreed. But
Yeah,
that
it
was
wasn't very long
also
at all.
after the Elimination Chamber. It wasn't at the Chamber. Like this
Right.
is Hell in the
After,
Cell. This is a big pay-per-view. That's my thing. Listen, it's going to happen regardless of what the fuck I think. The rumor is it's going to be Ray, and based on what happened, it seems like that's going to be because Dominic's going to be out now. He's going to be injured. This isn't like he's going to come back next week, which is why the tag titles can't be defended at Hell in the Cell. So Ray's going to go after Roman for the title, and he's going to die.
right.
I love you, Ray.
Again, since Aleister Black threw him off the building the first time.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, not Aleister Black, Baron Corbin. I'm sorry, Baron Corbin.
Maybe Dominic's gonna. Yeah.
But I can't say it enough. I just absolutely love Roman as a heel. It's working. His work with Heyman, fucking God bless Heyman, because he really is the reason that this is working so well. And I mean, I'm not trying to take anything away from Roman. He's taking the direction well.
Right.
But man, it's the best thing to ever happen to Roman. I mean, he's one of the best things in the business right now. And I'm talking about Roman Reigns, which a year ago we were having a complete opposite conversation.
Yeah, we were like hoping he didn't come back.
Not from the cancer. We kind of.
No, but you know what I mean. Just in
we
general,
wish
like,
him well.
Roman Reigns,
But if he never came back as that character, we were okay with it, is what we meant. Not that he was going to succumb to cancer.
Oh,
Yeah,
all
no,
right.
I don't want the guy to die.
I would hope not.
That's rude.
That's rude.
And when has that ever stopped us?
That's true. That is
But
true.
I can't wish death on that guy. That's just, he's been through too much.
Of
Yeah,
course.
no, he's been through a lot.
We had sympathy for that. I think I was the only one, even when that happened. I was in the chat like, holy shit, are you guys watching Raw? And like, I was the only one watching. Like, no, what's going on? What's going on? I'm like, I'll talk to you guys in 15 minutes. And I literally stopped off the chat so that everybody could get on. And then there was like, holy shit.
I was on a cruise.
Yeah, that was crazy.
So I was on a cruise, so I had no access to anything. So when I got to the airport, when we got off the boat and I turned my phone on, every fucking message from every media outlet and everything was Roman Reigns has cancer. And I was like, oh my God, what the fuck did I miss? And then I was able to find the video. Of course, I had, taped everything, so I got to watch it when I got home. But I found out, I think it was like a couple days later.
Yeah. But even Vincent, I said it because I messaged him or whatever. And I said, this isn't going to be good. He's wearing a suit.
Yeah.
Like
that's
he's
true.
coming out with a
Right?
suit. The
Yeah,
first time I heard that was I lost my smile.
Seriously.
When they come out with the belt in your hand, you know it's not good.
What else did we want to cover about SmackDown? Because we're getting to the top of the hour already. But anything else we want to mention? I mean, the Roman deal is good.
How about the many faces of Bailey?
You know what, though? Her promo work has been fucking great.
Yep.
And that whole sequence when the whole universe turned into her picture laughing was awesome.
Yep.
Like, it was just the presentation. I thought was great. Bianca's just great. That match is going to be great. So I'm excited for that. I kind of like her absence and just doing the promos because they're not getting physical. It's all running the mouth and mind games and, and they're going to throw down at the pay-per-view and it's going to be hard hitting and it's going to be a great match. So I'm excited for that.
I mean, like they're always supposed to do. like you're not supposed to touch before the pay-per-view and then promote the pay-per-view as the big blow-up match instead of fucking everybody over with a stupid finish?
Amazing concept, isn't it?
Who would have thought?
What else on
Storylines
SmackDown?
and not touching. It's like this whole big thing. You'd think this was a new concept or something.
What else were we thinking on SmackDown? I'm trying to remember. It was so long ago already.
I know. Let's pull up SmackDown and see what we have here.
Jason Riker came back with a new look. He cut his hair, shaved it, and who gives a fuck? Him and Elias had a match. I kind of want to see
Gunner from TNA. Who gives a shit?
I know. I could care less. I kind of want to see him move to Raw and have a feud with Elias. I mean, wouldn't that make the most sense? Like, who's the real rock star of the WWE?
Boggs.
You know, Boogs.
Boogs, Boggs, whatever.
But yeah, so I like that whole deal. SmackDown, I thought was pretty good this week. Like I enjoyed the show. Cedric Alexander had a match. I think that was SmackDown, right? He wrestled Jeff Hardy, and Jeff Hardy won. But that was a good match.
Kevin Owens took on Apollo Crews.
Yeah, that was decent. And then Sami Zayn attacked him.
And you know what? Here's another thing. Liv Morgan took on Carmella. That's another one that shouldn't have been fired. Ruby Riott.
Oh yeah, we
what
didn't even
the fuck
mention
was that
Ruby
about?
Riott.
Ruby Riott was great.
Ruby should have never been fired either. I think that was a mistake.
She'll be in AEW for sure.
Absolutely. But you know what? I know I had mentioned this in the chat or whatever, but Liv and Ruby were supposed to be the original two about in WrestleMania, and they were supposed to contend between Shayna and Nia. So what the hell happened in the last month and a half that meant her to go down to the totem pole and be let go? I don't understand.
I don't know. Tamina got over, and then the world fell apart.
Liv Morgan looked pretty good though.
She did.
their
There's
match.
another one that she's improved a lot.
A lot. You can tell
Oh, yeah,
she's putting
she's
the work
getting
in. Yeah, I was very impressed with her. Anything else noteworthy? I'm trying to remember. Now they have nothing to do with Big E because his feud with Aleister Black is out the fucking window. So now they have nothing for him, which is why we haven't seen him lately.
Bullshit.
That sucks too.
Yeah. I mean, we're at the top of the hour, so I think unless there's anything else, that's about it for this week, huh?
I believe so. Time flies when you have so much content to talk
That
about.
was crazy.
And this week we didn't even get to touch on AEW. But
Vince, I'm reading
No,
now what
There
Tara.
are Fridays right now.
yeah.
Vince, I'm sorry. What Tara was talking about was the stuff when we were trying to help her be able to watch the Floyd Mayweather fight the other night. That's what she was saying. Thank you for.
Oh, yeah, you're not going to get in trouble for pirating that. Nobody, listen, not even the federal government cares if you pirated that shitty fucking fight. Who cares?
I know, it was so funny. I love her.
Anybody that paid for it's an asshole. Like, a real asshole.
The only thing you pay for is Peacock. There you go.
I watched clips
And
on
that's
YouTube.
free with my
and called it
cable,
a day.
so I don't give a shit.
All right.
Right?
I think that's about it. Anybody else
All
have
right,
anything?
well, I'm about to perform stand-up at the Winchester Cafe in Portland, Connecticut. If you hear this right now, you're too late. I'm already there. Literally. I'm
Nice,
there.
brother. Well, have a good show, man. That's awesome.
That is.
I've been waiting in the car. The show starts at 7, so I'm going to get going in a second. But, yeah, guys, this is the War Report podcast brought to you by TagMeADate.com. TagMeADate.com will be coming back soon. If you want to follow our shenanigans on social media, it's at TagMeADate, at TagMeADate, no spaces. You smoosh it all together. It's all one word. If you go to Twitch, it's twitch.tv/warreport. We stream on Twitch, YouTube, Periscope, freaking everything, Facebook Live, whatever. At TagMeADate, just about everywhere on social media, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. Go to our YouTube and subscribe. Type in the search bar, TagMeADate, hit subscribe, hit the bell. If you prefer an audio version rather than the video version of the podcast that you get live, You can also subscribe on your favorite podcast apps such as Apple Podcasts, Google Play Podcasts, Stitcher, Spotify, or SoundCloud. Search for Tag Me a Date or The War Report. Our show will come up. Hit subscribe. About an hour or so after the show, the audio version will be uploaded so you can listen to it while you go to the gym, while you're doing your laundry, whatever else it is that you're going to do. And I think that's about it. We'll be back 6 p.m. Eastern Time next Tuesday for another edition of The War Report. Thank you guys so much for watching. We'll see you next week.